What they call me here is the Hugginator. If I can bring a smile to each and every one's face, my job is done.
The Empire State Building is an icon. You could drop a letter in the mail anywhere in the world, put a stamp on it, address it to the name of someone who works in this building, and just write Empire State Building and nothing else. And it'll be delivered in the exact same time, on the exact same day, as an identical letter, fully addressed. Tony Malkin, Chairman and CEO of Empire State Realty Trust. The Empire State Building has a mythic proportion to it, and that is what draws people to it. That said, it's also a functioning 2.8 million square feet of offices with approximately 100,000 square feet of observatory and 60,000 square feet of restaurants and amenities. It is a broadcast center for radio and television. It actually fulfills a number of commercial purposes. But to people's minds, it's the dream. We have airlines that have their offices here, employment agencies, financial, tech, social media, service firms, engineering firms, law firms, tremendous number of multi-floor tenants as opposed to multiple tenants on a floor. We also have the observatory, where millions of people a year come and visit the 3 levels of exhibits and the 2 levels of viewing. One is the only 360-degree viewing platform in the center of Manhattan. And then we have at the very top of the building, the 102nd floor. And that is a floor-to-ceiling window. You run up a glass elevator and you get actually to see out into the mast at different floors as you go up. You arrive at this place where you have a view which almost feels as though you're suspended over the island of Manhattan.
Hello, my name is Renita, and I am a VIP ambassador here at the Empire State Building. I've been working here, beautiful 26 years. We get people from all over the world, Australia, New Zealand, Africa, London, all over the world. When I see people come here, they're very excited, they're very happy because this is like on their bucket list. So they want to come here to the tallest building, the most iconic building in the world. They want to come to New York, the most exciting place in the world. My job is to make that happen. So when I see people come here, I give them the best experience I can give. We can get about 14 to 15,000 people a day. Some people cry because they're so happy. They're very excited. They always have smiles on their face just to see New York from a different perspective. Instead of seeing it from the street level, they're seeing it from above, and it makes their day. The most favorite place for me is the 102nd floor because you can see New York at its best. It's more intimate. We as ambassadors, we can interact with the guests just to feel them out and see how they're doing with their experience. It's very touching, so to speak. I look at New York in a whole different way. I've lived here all my life. I was born and raised here. Now I see New York in their eyes.
The Empire State Building Observatory has been rated by TripAdvisor as the #1 attraction in the world. So we tie in that international iconography, that mythology around the Empire State Building, this whole experience of time with dreams and aspirations. And we give the kids what they'd like to see. We give the adults what they'd like to see. Awful lot of people get engaged at the Empire State Building. People from out of town come here with locals who bring them to get their orientation and say, well, there's LaGuardia Airport, there's Kennedy Airport, there's Central Park. There's no place else where you can see all of that and with all that clarity and get the history. It's kind of wonderful. During the Depression, this thing was built in 13 and a half months, and it triumphed over adversity. It was so outrageous when it was done, but it goes beyond that because they actually connect with it emotionally. And that's an amazing thing. And there are very few things with which people connect, physical objects, with which people connect emotionally, which are not naturally derived. The Grand Canyon, the Alps, you think about that, the Empire State Building's right up there with those connections.
So from here, you could have a 360-degree view of all of New York City.
What's your favorite part of this view?
The south side, because there's no obstruction really, and the old World Trade Center was there. I used to work down there, so that's what I remember when the World Trade Center was being built, so that's what I like the best.
You know, it was always thought of as a modern marvel. Well, we wanted to make it a current modern marvel. It was very important to us with not just to have greenwashing, but actually to do things that made a difference. So what makes a difference? Energy efficiency. We're one of the most energy efficient buildings of any age in the world, as far as big office buildings go. Water conservation, waste into recycling of construction debris, paper and plastic products. We also do composting, and it's really sort of an amazing piece when you put all of these things together. From our perspective, the beauty of it is, it helped us distinguish ourselves as a building. It helped us distinguish ourselves from other buildings. It helped put us on the map, and it attracted higher quality tenants who care about this.
So this is the famous wind tunnel. Many years ago when I first started, all this piping was not here. So now they're running piping here. But this goes all the way over to Fifth Avenue. Nicholas Martone is my name. I'm Assistant Chief Engineer here at the Empire State Building. This is my 26th year. It's been great. I'm still here, so it's a good thing. I started here as a helper back in 1993, and I went to the apprentice program at the union, and I worked my way up. We are responsible for the operation of the building, the heating, the air conditioning, plumbing, life safety, all maintenance and repairs. Everything falls on the engineering department. We have a lot going on here at the building.
Can you tell us just a little bit about what the original sort of intention of this tunnel was?
It's for fresh air, for outside air, and for the ventilation system. So it comes in from up top. There's an air curtain upstairs. It's got dampers on it, so we can control the amount of air. If it's too cold outside, we'll cut it back so it's not freezing down here and in the lobby. Air comes down, and if you come through here, you can walk. There are outlets for the lower level fans down the end and on the other side. Be careful, sir.
Be very careful.
It gets a little slick down here. There is a natural stream that runs underneath this building. So that's what a lot of this water is. You can see it coming through some of the walls here. It'll get shorter as you go this way, just watch your heads. When I was a helper, I had to clean this place. They sent you down here with a broom and a shovel, and you got to put it through your paces.
Yeah, pay your dues down in the basement.
You pay your dues, but that's okay. The main source of heating here is radiators. We have 6,514. Every window has a radiator. They're all copper. They're all original. It's a huge process. We have miles of steam piping here. I tell you the truth, my day starts as soon as I'm come through those doors. There are times I'm coming down this hallway and I don't even, get my coat off yet. And people are asking us questions. People have issues. My guys have issues. And then it's basically dealing with all the problems in the building during the day. We make sure that the heat is on, it's the AC on, any leaks have to be addressed. Are the shifts covered, is schedule covered, contractors coming in, you name it, we're dealing with it. From the minute I walk in to the minute that I go home. But the ride never stops here, it's always going. Well, at the time, what impressed me the most about this place at the time was how fast it was built. A little over a year. They can't fix a street now in a year outside, and they put this whole place up in a year. But the materials in this building, and we have original piping in this building still, and the thickness of the pipe and the quality of the workmanship that went into this building. We have original fittings here today that are still good, from 1930. You just don't see that today. It's amazing how well built this place was.
So can you tell us what we're seeing right here?
This is a refrigeration plant. This is how we provide air conditioning to the building. So what happens is we have a series of chillers here that make chilled water. This chilled water is pumped throughout the building to over 450 air handlers. That chilled water goes through a coil. The warm air from outside in the space goes over that chilled water. That chilled water absorbs the heat. It provides cool air to the spaces, so that water warms up. If it absorbs the heat, comes back down here, goes through these machines, the water gets chilled again, goes right back up, and it's a big cycle. As you can see, 500 pounds down here standing, very high pressures down here. That's the pressure of the water, because the water tank starts up on the 88th floor. That's all the water from the top of the house down here. That's the pressure down here, very high pressures. We have vertically mounted pumps, which you don't really see today. This is original. This is from the 50s when they put the AC in the building. They've done some upgrades over the years. Chillers 1, 2, and 3 were put in new in 94, and 4, 5, 6, and 7, they were retrofitted back in 1995. And actually now they have a plan in place. We're going to remove number 7 because it's an old machine and it's time. It's past its life. They're putting in a brand new chiller for the high zone in the fall. So now we're going to start to upgrade our, our refrigeration plant little by little.
Can you walk us through one more time what each zone, like you said, zones 1, 2, and 3?
Sure, we have 3 zones, a low zone, a mid zone, and a high zone. Low zone chill water is lower level, up to the 5th floor. Mid zone chill water is 6th floor to 41. The high zone is 42 to 88.
This is the lower level of the Empire State Building, and I would like to say this is the room where it happens because this is where I do my most important work with the engineering team of the Empire State Building. My name is Dana Robin-Schneider. I'm the Director of Energy and Sustainability for Empire State Realty Trust. I've been full-time with the Empire State Building and Empire State Realty Trust since 2019. An average day for me at the Empire State Building focuses primarily on the building's performance from a sustainability perspective. So I work every day with the engineering team and the operations team at the Empire State Building, and I also work with our amazing tenants. We partner together to deliver an energy efficient, healthy, and high air quality building for our tenants. One of the really advanced tools that we work on is the building automation and the systems in the building, and being able to give the engineering team real-time data on all of the different systems in the building and how they're performing at any given time. We have millions of data points coming in every second of every day from every sensor and piece of equipment around the building, and we actually monitor that down in the engineering offices. And then we have a customized screen and interface that we've developed for our engineers to use to be able to take millions of data points in real time and digest it into actions so that they can make sure this building is running as well as it can all the time. And these tools like this, these machine learning intelligence tools, actually enable the people who run this building to make well-informed decisions that would otherwise be impossible to look at all the time. These tools help us to still have all that information in real time and act on it effectively. So at the Empire State Building, we have focused on making the business case for investment in deep energy retrofits and energy efficiency starting from the end of 2007. And so we've spent years making the Empire State Building the best example of how you can take any existing building and make it a super high performing, efficient, modernized, resilient, sustainable building with proven return on investment. In the Empire State Building so far, we've reduced our energy usage by 49%, and our goal is to continue to make the systems work in what we call an optimized way. And in 1931, it really epitomized what human ingenuity and engineering were capable of doing. On the incredibly high quality work that was done, we take that example from 1931 and honor it and then build on it for continuous leadership and the ongoing example of the Empire State Building as the most advanced, modernized building in the world. The Empire State Building has 68 elevators, and when we modernize them, we have the largest elevator modernization project in the world, which includes destination calling to make the experience faster. And in addition, our elevators all have regenerative braking, which means that as the elevators slow down, that energy is recovered and placed back into the building to use for our other electricity needs. The window retrofit project is one of my favorite projects in the building. The Empire State Building has 6,514 oversized operable windows. And part of our sustainability work here was to make sure that the envelope, the outside of the building, was as efficient as it could be. Our window retrofitted all 6,514 windows. We reused over 96% of the existing windows at the time. We did all of the work on site on the 5th floor, and we quadrupled the performance of the windows, all for 70% less cost than new windows would have been. We also do really fun work with urban biodiversity. And one of the ways that we contribute there is through our beehives. We have a successful, thriving apiary, and then we share that honey in part with our restaurants in the building.
Oh yeah, the Empire State Building has beehives. I believe they're on the 6th floor. They harvest the honey, I think every 6 months or so, and they send some down and we incorporate that into our dishes when we can. I'm Chef Morgan Jarrett. I'm the executive chef at State Grill and Bar. We are the flagship restaurant at the Empire State Building. First, we have a formal restaurant where we seat around 90 guests on our main level. We see everyone from tourists from all over the world, but we're also in Midtown Manhattan, where we see a huge crowd for lunchtime. We also have a private event space that seats up to 90 people downstairs. And then we also cater to all of the businesses in the building, as well as do private functions in the Empire State Building on the Observatory level and throughout. So all the food for the restaurant, events, everything gets prepped in this kitchen and then gets either sent up to the restaurant, or we have a freight elevator where all the catering orders get done. I like to think of it as very New York in and of itself, so New American, if you will. But we draw a lot of influences from the places and people around us, and we're located near the Union Square Farmers Market. Sourcing is one of my biggest passions. I like to meet local artisans and farmers, and we do a lot of building of relationships throughout New York City, Queens, upstate, everything from who grows our mushrooms to our cheesemongers, and we're always meeting new people every day. Sustainability is obviously a huge priority for the Empire State Building. I think the most simple terms, and it's not necessarily new or avant-garde, and it's just don't waste stuff. Don't waste stuff. Wasting stuff is bad. That's kind of it.
That's perfect.
The lights originally were, just so we're clear, non-existent. The building wasn't built with the lights. Sometime in the mid-1990s, came up with the idea to upgrade the lights at the Empire State Building. We came up with the idea to use LEDs. And these LEDs, we can do tens and tens and tens of thousands of color combinations. We can do light shows to music. Now the funny thing is, when we first got it installed, it's a little bit like buying a Formula One race car. Well, you have the car, but you don't have a driver. And so what are you supposed to do with this thing? I actually reached out to a fellow named Ron Delsner, who was a famous rock and roll concert promoter. And he said, kid, I got the guy for you. And it was a fellow named Mark Brickman, who had done rock and roll concert lighting since he was a teenager. And he brought in the same control panels that are used for a rock and roll concert at Madison Square Garden. And that's how we did our first show, was to Alicia Keys. And that was very exciting. The lights go on with sunset and they go off at 2 a.m. The only time we kept the lights on 24/7 was during COVID, where we left the lights on all night so people would know we're good. New York is here. We're present.
I love to give hugs. I do. Some people like the New York love, you make them feel wanted, you make them feel welcome. So that's what I like to do.
The Hugginator.
The Hugginator. My coworkers gave me that name because I do give a lot of hugs. When I see a person that's really feeling how happy they are, I give them a hug just to show them how New Yorkers can really be. We used to have a reputation that New Yorkers were very rude. So when they come to me, they see a whole different story.
The building is 94 years young, and we don't tear it down, we improve it continually. So I think, we'll continue to maintain that. I'm sure that in the gym we'll replace equipment, retail tenants will come and go, restaurants will change, things will change. But the constant will be that the Empire State Building will maintain its unique awareness as a brand worldwide, and it will maintain its preeminence as a place of work, and it will maintain its preeminence in culture. From that perspective, that's pretty exciting. We're just stewards, It goes on beyond us. You could drop a letter in the mail and just write Empire State Building and nothing else, and it'll be delivered in the exact same time, on the exact same day, as an identical letter, fully addressed.
No problem, thank you, and enjoy your day.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right, here we go. Postcard to Renita. Let's see if it gets there.